Welcome back to Sailing Saoirse. In this episode we take you through our solar panels. We are very excited about them. They finally came. Chris was able to travel through from Cape Town. He has an essential working permit, so that allowed him to travel, and we had a few things on the yacht that needed to be fixed, important things, so he came through with that and brought our solar panels through with him. So in this episode we'll be showing you that.
Hello!
Hello!
The man of the hour is back.
It's me, I'm back again after a long time. Been locked down for days and days and all sorts of things.
With Chris being an essential worker, he was able to come up and do some essential electrical work on the boat so that we could correctly run our inverter system. And with that, he was able to bring up our solar panels at the same time so that Denver and I could start finally with the solar installation. We started with a complete dry run so that we made sure all the panels were correctly positioned where we wanted them before we actually started the fitting. And as you can see, there was a lot of fiddling and moving around before we actually settled on the correct positioning for each solar panel.
I'm going to do some work. I'll leave you guys to play up there.
Okay. Okay, put it down. So we can get 5 solar panels on you.
That's why I wanted to see on how much power we can get up here and how much we've actually got then coming in.
Because then you wouldn't even have to turn your engines on a crossing unless you really needed to.
With like a proper kilowatt of power coming in.
We could start selling power to people in the Caribbean.
There we go.
Yeah, I said to Chris, I want the air fryer operational, so we may need a
That
couple
air
more.
fryer will drain all of these panels.
No, but it
5
means that if we've got like if you've got a nice sunny day and you're at anchor and the sun is straight down here, we can hopefully run that desalinator without the engine running.
That's a good plan.
Okay, so there's a meter there. So
Then I can keep my air fryer.
Hey?
Then I can keep my air fryer. Come on, Chris, the aim is to get the air fryer on here.
Okay, so that's how it could fit like that, Chris.
We could have
you've got a
two flying
meter.
out the sides like this.
We've got wiring up the solar regulators, and well, that's all that we're doing right now. But we've got one up and running already down there. At the moment it's on bulk charge, but there's not a lot of sun left today.
Just marking out spots so we can fit our solar regulators. So maybe we can test these sometime today. Securing this down and bolting, self-tapping this into the
self-tapping is down, and then we drill and tap it onto the panel.
And this is the Perspex, so we're just preparing that. We've left the protective film in on the inner section, opened it up on the outer section, taped the edge and buffed up the open area for the primer to fit on, to stick onto nicely. We've got 2 of them because there are 2 openings in the Bimini. Can't wait to get these on because it's going to make the whole area a little bit more watertight when we do have a bit of rain.
So on the Bimini it has 2 port lights, and we had to fit those before we started installing the solar panels. After taping up all the edges, we used cleaning benzene to clean the area that we were going to be putting the primers down on. once the area was clean, we started the application of the primers for the sika, and we just used a piece of sponge to apply that onto the fiberglass. So with the port lights on the Bimini being finished, we were then able to start the installation of the solar panels, because as you can see here, we've kind of taken the solar panel over so this is what we call a priming area, this black here, and that's where the actual Perspex sits on the fiberglass itself. So there's a bed of sika underneath there. And this panel here basically sits right in line with the bed of sika, so you don't actually see it from below the panel, from below the window itself. Okay, we've got a little bit of rope over the panels because we haven't actually fixed our back 330 watt panel down yet, and at the moment we're currently experiencing the beginning of winter on the west coast of South Africa, and yeah, we're expecting like 40 knots of wind later this afternoon. But anyway, so what we've done with the solar panels is we've connected them in what they call a series. So those two small panels are connected together, and those two small panels are connected together, and basically what that does is it increases the voltage coming in, so inevitably you are able to charge your batteries faster, bearing in mind that the solar regulators we have will regulate the voltage coming in, because these panels operate at 60 volts. So obviously we have a 12 volt battery system on the boat, so the regulators will then regulate that 60 volts down to the correct voltage in order to charge the battery safely, which is around about 13.8 to 14.2 volts, give and take how flat the battery is. And so those two there will be in series, or they currently are in series together, and then that big one at the back here, this is a 330 watt panel, will be in series with the one that's going on the davits. So these two alone will be getting in 660 watts just from those two panels, and yeah, in turn with all the panels connected we'll be getting close on 1.4 kilowatts of solar power, which, given that it's quite a little bit of power that we can get on the boat, hopefully we'll be able to run the desalinator, our water maker, on a pretty hot day without actually having to turn on the engines themselves. Hey guys, so this is what our solar panels are going to be sitting on, their little feet, and what's going to happen is this side here is going to go like that into the side of the solar panel, and these two pieces here are going to go down into the Bimini. So it's going to sit like this with the solar panel like that sort of thing. Just a rough piece of wood, and yeah. After marking and spacing where the brackets are going to go correctly on each panel, I started drilling the holes through the brackets so that we could start with the installation. Given that there are 6 brackets per panel, this was quite a tedious job, and it took me a little bit of time to correctly align each bracket so that when we positioned the solar panel down onto the Bimini, each hole lined up correctly with its corresponding hole on the bracket. After fitting the brackets to each solar panel, we then brought the panels up onto the Bimini and started the first of many dry runs. We then marked out the positions for the feet of the brackets so that we could take them off the solar panels and then fix them to Bimini. Okay, so what we've done is we've drilled the holes for the brackets, and we are going to start lining them up on top of the Bimini so we can get those fixed. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix the bracket to the Bimini first, and then we're going to then place the panel down into where the brackets are, and then fix the panel onto the brackets. So the reasoning behind us doing the brackets the way we did was because the solar panels will then be slightly lifted above the surface of the Bimini, giving them a little bit of air circulation, which we were told that will slightly increase the life of your solar panels. The sika we used was a type of marine adhesive sealant which we thought was good enough to seal the holes in the Bimini, as well as holding the brackets down in case of sort of bad weather, as well as 2 self-tappers into the core of the Bimini. So Denver and I have just finished fitting our first 4 solar panels, and this is like a really exciting moment for us because each of these panels, get you a better angle there, so each of these panels are 180 watts each, so that's 720 watts just in these 4 panels. And then you can see we've got a big space here, so this is going to be another 300 watt panel, which is actually down there on the dock by Denver. So that one will give out 300 watts, and that we're going to put here. We don't have the brackets yet, so it's going to be like phase 2 of our solar installation. And then here between these 2 little spots here, there are going to be another one. There's going to be another one of those 300 watt panels on the davit poles itself. So in turn we're going to be getting at least like 1.2 kilowatts of solar power coming in, which is making us very excited.
Happy birthday, sugar. Go, make a wish.
Don't know what I wish for.
What? No, don't tell me. So it's Colvin's birthday, and we broke out our second to last bottle of wine. With it being lockdown in South Africa, they've had complete restrictions over the alcohol in our country, and we haven't been able to buy since when?
The 26th of March.
Yeah, so
And it's only opening up on the 1st of June.
this is, yeah, we just,
And the stores are going to be empty because the entire nation's probably going to be in the bottle store.
but yeah, this is a momentous occasion. Yes. So Colbin's birthday was on the 27th of May. He turned 23, and I am a huge birthday person. No birthdays pass by without a lot of excitement and about a 3-month countdown to it. Colbin was a little confused as to why I knew that it was 93 days till his birthday and why I was so excited, but we finally got to day 1 and then day 0. And I baked him a cake. I love baking, and I often, as gifts, will bake a cake. I love to decorate them. With us being in lockdown, we haven't been able to buy a cake tin, so there's just something in my head that tells me I cannot bake a square cake, because we do have square oven dishes, but I couldn't do it. So we spent a lot of time running around Langebaan and looking for round cake tins, but nothing. So I came up with the innovative idea for any sailors out there that don't have a cake tin to use a soup pot. Well, it's kind of like a sauce pot, I think you would call it. But I lined it with baking paper, so it was easy to get out, and popped the whole thing in the oven. We didn't know if the handle would fall off. We didn't know how it would actually work, but trial and error with everything on a yacht, and it came out pretty good. With it having a thicker bottom, it did take a bit longer to cook. I don't know why, but it did take longer than usual to cook, so just something to factor in if you are using your sauce dish. Colbin has informed me that I must tell you that it's also all stainless steel. That's why it was able to go in the oven.
Replacing the fittings for the gulper and sensor system, and then hopefully connecting up to the drain pipe for the showers.
So this gulper is what drains and pumps our grey water out of the boat. Shower water and hand basin. I've had a couple of problems with them leaking.
The thing that Den was holding in his hand is a two-way manifold which tells the gulper to pump. Yeah, I think you're going to be better just cutting that thing off.
So this has been another trial and error situation. We have this very nice automatic gulper system on the grey water on the one side of the boat, and the sensor has to be standing upright for it to work properly, for the sensors to work correctly, and we've got a very limited space between that pencil mark. There's the level of the floor down to the bottom of the bilge, and to get all the piping in, the sensor and the elbow fitting has been quite a nightmare. So we are having to rig up a system that will work for this to all finally be functional. The sensor unit for the whale gulper unit that we've got, it needs to be upright for it to work correctly, and like I said just now, it's very limited space, so Robin's rigged up a system here. This will go onto there, this will be attached to the bulkhead under the floor, and then together like that we've got space to put the elbow and all the piping going in, so that should theoretically work. Like I say, trial and error, we're getting there slowly. So there's the gulper sensor going into place.
It's going to link up with this shower pipe and the basin pipe.
So that's the basin pipe, and the one down there is the shower pipe.
And then
it senses the water.
Yeah.
And so where the pipe comes out underneath.
Yeah.
And then it
It'll
gets pumped.
into here, then pumped out, and it comes out the skin fitting over here.
Via a skin fitting. There. So that's our grey water exiting the boat. Eventually. One step closer to being able to brush our teeth in the hand basin again. We've had a couple of problems with getting this whole system right. It's been one of those trial and errors we're talking about. Mainly because of the height that we've got to work with underneath there. So we've had some leaks and things that we've hopefully now got to the bottom of.
It's bugging on my ribs here.
This is the joys of working in small spaces. That's the plumbing coming through from the shower and basin, and that's underneath the shower floor, the head's floor. And to get that pipe connected through here, we have to raise the level of the pipe to get the falls correct. So lots of drilling and adjusting going on at the moment. Our system is finally complete. This is the gulper on the starboard side of the boat. And just to explain, we've got hand basin pipe coming here into the sensor, shower outlet going there into the sensor. So once it's been sensed, it starts to pump and it goes through a pipe that goes up to be hidden. We've got it going into the bed, coming out of the bed, then it goes up into the cupboard where it's got a vacuum break, then back down again and through the skin fitting out into the seat there. So quite a complicated little system, something I didn't understand before we bought a boat. Having lived in municipal properties all our lives, obviously you just assume that there's plumbing that flows away and water that pumps by itself because it's under pressure in a boat. Anything that moves has to go through a pump, so we've got pumps similar to this everywhere through the boat. Turn on the kitchen sink, a pump pumps the water. Basin sinks, pumps.
In between working, Denver helped the maintenance staff keep the resort neat and tidy. If you enjoyed our video, please give it a like, and if you want to follow the rest of our videos, please click subscribe. Thank you again to Boock from Boock Yacht Riggings. We wouldn't be where we are without him.